Let's do it.
Okay. Hi everyone. So today we are with the JJ. Hi JJ. So JJ is
Hi.
yeah, JJ is a full-time Bubble developer at a Profound and also Bubble Bootcamp instructor, and also running a very good community, Slack community, through which I know him. That's the like a first interaction that we had over the Slack channel. And if you are not following him on Twitter, then you are missing out. And he shares a lot of in-depth information about the bubble, how you can think about like a bubble as a earning resources, not just a hobby, but actually like converting that to a money. So go check it out, their Twitter profile. You can go into the description and find the Twitter account. So let's start.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi JJ. So
Hello.
can you tell me about your basic background, like before no code bubble, what exactly you were doing and how exactly you transition into like bubble and every sort of thing?
Sure. Yeah. So I actually came from the film industry. Spent the last I don't know, 8 years in the film industry. Went to film school, made some movies, made some music videos, commercials, and whatnot. And in about 2017, I was hiring 200 to 300 filmmakers a year, and I wanted to build my first tech solution to help me hire those folks easier. And I had never built anything with technology before. And so it was my first forte in the tech industry. And I ended up hiring a ex-engineer from Microsoft, and we started building on a Microsoft stack. And it quickly became apparent that, 3 months into the build, and we built like a login page, an account page, and maybe like one other page, but like so far off from what we wanted to do. And so we needed to raise some more money. But at the same time, it's just like, you know what, like this is a really cool process. We have designs that are coming to life. It's really slow, but it's coming to life and it is looking very promising. So let's go out. We raised some more money. We raised our friends and family that kind of allowed us to get our MVP to market. Took us about 6 to 8 months to get a very simple MVP to market, a profile page, a feed page, a login, a sign up, an account settings page. That's it, and then we were like, okay, we got some users, got a couple hundred users that keep coming in. This seems promising. So let's keep doing this. And so what if we added, like payments to the platform and hiring management stuff and just, I'm a product guy. So I kept adding product to it. And long story short, we raised some angel investment. We went to an accelerator in San Francisco and I did the whole thing as a non-technical founder, 3-4 years into it. And I was always running the product and hiring the engineers. We had maybe a team of 4, 5, 6 engineers at one point, and I was managing all of them. And I always wanted to just build it myself though. Like that was always the thing. It's like, I just want to build, right? Like this is my baby that we're trying to bring to life. I want to build it. And also I hated being at the whim of one of my engineers or something like that, right? Like we could only build as much as they were able to build, right? And so like I just needed to get in that driver's seat, but I was afraid. I didn't think I was smart enough to learn how to code, right? And so I never learned until one day where we ran out of money. We couldn't pay our engineers anymore. And I was just like, well, if we're going to continue this company, either I need to learn how to do this or the company's not going to succeed, right? And so that was kind of me getting pushed off the cliff into learning how to code. And so I was looking at all these different platforms of how can I get started? We were using a full stack with like 10 different languages. And it's like, there's no way I'm going to learn all of those, right? Like in I don't know, 6 months. So I needed to find something that I could learn in 6 months and also had the power to bring me at an enterprise level. And that's where Bubble came in, right? And so I learned Bubble 2 years ago.
So
I took Gregory.
just
Go for it.
Copying you in between.
Yeah.
So how you got to know Bubble, like via your friend or like on the internet?
On the internet, it was just advertisements, really. And I think advertisements exposed me to it. And then from there, I started researching it and started to see like what the possibilities were. I think I started to see like some of the clones that were made possible. And I was like, okay, well, if you could build a Airbnb with this, I'm sure we could build what I mean? Stuff like that. So.
And
yeah.
Before directly jumping onto Bubble, have you tried any other no-code tool like Wix, like Softer, like any other tool?
Yeah. So I had been building in WordPress for a while.
Okay.
And then I was also building in Webflow, but both of which were like not powerful in the sense of like you couldn't build full stack, you couldn't mess with your database, you couldn't, like, and that's what I was looking for. I needed a full stack solution that could bring me to the enterprise level. And honestly, I only found Bubble like that could do it at that time, right? Like Bubble was the only option for me. And so I took Gregory John's Udemy course. 2 years ago, and it just got me addicted right away. I was just like, I kept remember learning Bubble and just talking out loud of like, wow, you could do this. No way. It's that easy. What? And then all of a sudden I started to feel empowered because I could start to build things. Right. And that just unleashed like this addiction for no code over the last 2 years where I've just been building just all the time. And now I work full-time as a professional Bubble developer where we're building an enterprise marketing product. I also am building Jump Studios on the side, which is a project management software for media professionals.
So
I'm
this
also
is
building
the same tool that you are trying to build it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. A little bit of a spin-off. So the original tool was Industry Jump. It was a hiring platform. And I always wanted to bring project management into that hiring platform. Project management with invoicing, video review, contracts to complete that hiring side of it. And we could just never afford to do it. It was just way too much money, way too much tech power and all that kind of stuff. And so I built it all with Bubble, and so that's what I'm doing in Bubble now. So I got Jump Studios. It's a full stack platform for media professionals in Bubble. NoCodeAliance, which is a hiring platform and a professional organization for no-code developers, all in Bubble. So currently building 3 Bubble apps. And then I also teach Bubble at night through Bubble's boot camps where I teach beginner, intermediate, and professionals.
Okay. So just a quick, whoever the Bubble developer is watching this video and not have access the NoCodeAliance. Is it the right name? I'm just pronouncing it.
Yeah, NoCodeAliance.
You should definitely check out because like you got to know different Bubble developer salary across the world. Yeah, it is not verified yet, but you get a good idea. And since Bubble is most of the early phase, so it is sort of a same salary mostly people are putting out. They are not inflating their salaries or like minimizing their salary and then putting it. Second is if you just want to hang out with a lot of other Bubble developer or want to know the other Bubble developer, and you definitely check it out. And that's the case. I
think you were like one of our first members, so thank you for your support there. This gets us into the hiring side of things, NoCodeAliance, right? Like I've been working as a professional Bubble developer for 6 months now, and I've been helping to kind of build that enterprise marketplace for Bubble developers in the sense of building large company software as a team of Bubble developers, right? So we've been standardizing how to work with Bubble as developers as a team, how to standardizing like your coloring, your workflow folders, your naming elements, like how you bring all this stuff in a team way. We've been writing a manual about, and we've been hiring more developers to help us. And so we've been really kind of at the front lines of how to use Bubble in an enterprise format. And so because of that, it led me to all of the kind of gaps that currently exist with that, in the sense of, well, for Bubble developers, what skill sets do they need to know in order to be professionals, right? Like what is that, right? And then for Bubble developers, how much do I charge as a professional Bubble developer, right? And then on the employer side, how do you hire a Bubble developer? What are you looking for? Where do you hire them? What do you pay them? And how do you succeed with them, right? Like it's a whole different ecosystem, right? And so that's what I'm trying to do with NoCodeAliance is bring those two sides together, provide information, provide transparency, and to help each other succeed in this enterprise world.
Okay, so why I'm just telling out this is why you should check out the NoCodeAliance, because of my personal story. Let me just tell you in a bit quickly. So while starting Bubble, so I freelances for very small amount that is compared to right now that I'm charging now. And I shared that with my friend, okay, this is much I'm charging now. He is also a Bubble developer. And he directly said to me, okay, you should charge more. You can easily get it. So because the amount I was charging, I just feel like it is quite good. But when he said to me, okay, you can charge more And when on the next project, when I charge this to more, and the client is happy to pay it.
Yeah.
So that's why I just feel like, yeah, it is. It is not people, because people overlook that thing, and I have also personally overlooked thing, because I just feel like, why should I look to the other people's salary, and like they are getting on a US base, I am from India, I will not get. But no, this is not true. This is completely not true. And if you know your colleagues, if you know people who the same domain, what they are charging, so you can charge more and or less. Because for
Yeah.
example, someone started at high price and he's not getting any client, he can check it out what the industry standard sort of.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And
that way
with
it is
NoCode
perfect.
Alliance, yeah, with NoCode Alliance, we have a salary tool, and it allows you to check what platform you want to look at. So Webflow, Bubble, etc. And then you could check what the freelance rates are, like the current market rate for like a freelance Webflow developer, Bubble developer, and then the salary rate for a Webflow or Bubble developer or software builder, etc. Right. And this is just provided by people inserting what they get paid. So everyone can see what each other is getting paid. It's all anonymous, but you can still see what each other are getting paid to see what that market wage is. So you can start to gauge yourself of what you need to charge, and for employers what they need to pay, right? And that was a big part of like our first mission with NoCode Alliance, is to establish a market wage that is fair for both sides. Because sometimes people think about no code as like cheap, right? Like, oh, it's so super quick, I can just do it really cheap, right? And it's not cheap. It's still really sophisticated technology, right? So we need to, set the market of saying like, or set the baseline of like, this is what people get paid. And it's not just this one developer saying that they're expensive. Look at all the rest of these folks. Everyone gets paid that much, right? So that's the wage. You don't try to lowball this person, because this is the market wage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I completely agree with you on that topic, because from personally me, I saw that how exactly that thing works. Okay, so now come to our main topic of this podcast, like how
Hiring.
hiring, like how clients should hire. And before jumping on that, I just want to start from the job description. How client should write a job description, focus on the no code, because like I saw a lot of opening on the different platform, and they are quite generic. They just copy paste the any technology, for example, Java developer, and just replace the Java with the Bubble
Yeah.
or Byflow or software. That's it. So I
Yeah.
just want to come on that thing. Okay, and how should clients should write a job description rather than
Yeah.
hiring and rather than other things?
Yeah, this is actually one of the things I want to do through NoCode Alliance, is provide sample job descriptions for each platform to help employers do it, because you're exactly right. Like they just look at other developer job descriptions and then they post that. And so then the job description says, oh, you need to learn JavaScript and CSS and HTML, and then you need to know SQL and all this stuff. It's like, bro, I'm a no-code developer, right? Like we don't need to know all this stuff because we do it another way, right? And so I think that's the first part about employers hiring no code, is they need to understand no code and the ecosystem and the benefits and the negatives of such, right? To prepare themselves to succeed with no code before they even hire someone, right? So first, they need to become familiar with what platforms they're choosing or platform they're choosing for, their technology to be built on. And then once they understand that, they need to understand, like what areas of development do you need? Is it backend workflows? Is it API connections? Is it privacy settings? Is it a really complex database structure? Is it really sophisticated UI and UI interactions, right? And all of those things should be listed in your job description, not CSS, HTML, plugin, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's kind of where it starts, is the employer understanding how no code works, and two, them picking the platform that's best for them. And then with that platform in mind, listing all of the things that they need to build for their technology, whether it's a full stack or very specific, backend workflows or kind of API integration, stuff like that, and put that into their job description to help Bubble developers, find, jobs that are right for them and to get more applications. Because a lot of Bubble developers maybe, or any kind of no code developers, may be scared off with the sense of, well, I don't know JavaScript, I don't know CSS, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to apply, even though I'm a great full stack no code developer.
Perfect. You have said, because I know, because when you messed up with the database, and later stage of a project, then you figure out the page is taking too much time, particular section is taking too much time to load, too much time to show, and how we behave with the backend workflow is completely messed up the complete app. How well you written. And before a job description, I just want to point out one more question. Like, should every businesses need to hire the bubble developer, no code developer, or are there is a specific like there is a specific checkbox one should follow to see is it they need a bubble developer or not? What do you think about it?
Can you ask me that again? I didn't quite get it.
No. So basically, so since no code market is growing too fast right now.
Yep.
And is it mandatory to each tech company or real estate company or any type of industry company to hire no code developer, or is it like there is a checkbox or like to-do checkbox at the client side before even putting a job description over the internet? They should run that. Okay, like for example, they really need a tech product, or they really need like as you said in the first job description, right? You have to choose the platform. So for example, if any work can be handled just a spreadsheet, do you really need bubble developer, or you need a spreadsheet expert, or you just need a landing page website? Do you really need like a bubble developer, or you?
What you're saying kind of is like, does the employer need to figure out their stack before hiring, kind of thing? And what I would say is you don't have to. You can just say, hey, I'm looking for this website, and you can open it up to all developers, code and no code, and then they can do that for you. But without you understanding the stack that you're using, it leads you into a path that you might not be familiar with. Like for me, for example, we chose to initially start building an industry jump on an Azure stack, right? And I wasn't aware like how expensive Azure is to host. I wasn't aware how hard it is to find engineers that know .NET and the whole Azure stack, and how expensive those engineers are, and the platform lock-in for all of that, like, right? So yeah, I picked someone that just could build this, and they picked their own stack, and that stack wasn't advantageous for me in the long run, right? So it's very advantageous for the employer to do the research or to get a consultant to help them pick what is stack is best for their company. And then from there, they can get very specific of what type of developer they need to hire for that stack and for their purpose.
Okay. One more question related to this. So like companies should go to for the freelancer or like full-time developer at their in-house, or like agencies, like each have their own benefit. But like what parameter like makes them okay, you should go to bubble full-time developer or bubble freelancer or agency route?
Yeah, there's three different ways to hire no code devs, right? And I think it depends on the stage of the company, how much money and how quick you're trying to build something, right? Like if you're looking for something that is going to get you an MVP to market in like 6 to 8 weeks, right? And you have like maybe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to do that, an agency is probably best because they can pool all of the resources together to get you a product to market really, really quickly, right? If you don't have that much money and you have a little bit more time, then you can hire a freelancer, and it's going to take you a little bit more time, and it's going to cost you a little less money, but you can still get there, right? And then if once you're at the market, you can continue to have that freelancer help you. Or if you have more money and more time and you want complete control every step of the way, that's when you hire a in-house developer, no-code developer, to come in at a salary level and to work with you from start to finish. And that's what I'm doing now. So I work at a company where we're building an enterprise product from the ground up. And it's going to take a couple of years, right? Like we're almost 6 months in, and we're just getting ready to launch our MVP, but then we're going to have a V1, a V2, a V3, a V4, right? And so we're building for the long term here, understanding that you don't just build something once and then you never touch it again. You build it once and you just keep iterating and improving and maintaining it, right? And so we're set up for the long term with 3 full-time bubble developers and a product manager at my company right now.
Perfect. Okay, now we have sorted out like we need a bubble full-time developer. We have written a well-documented job description. Where should I post that job description right now? Like, what is
Yeah.
all the ways to hire the bubble developer full time?
Yeah. So this is also hard. For those that don't know the platform, right? Like, because how are you going to interview someone from a technical standpoint if you're not familiar with the technical part of the platform, right? So that's hard. And so some people ask for like, portfolio works and stuff like that, or demo tasks or test tasks, stuff like that. That's helpful. But what I would say for you is if you're an employer looking to hire a no-code dev, first you should find a consultant who is an expert in that field that can help you pick what platform you want to choose. And okay, so once you choose your platform, then that consultant can sit on the interviews with you and help technically test those no-code
Like
developers to see where they are.
coming on the interview, where should they post that job description? Like, what is the platform that is available for the like above no code developer, bubble platform developer? Because traditional one will not going to work. In particular,
Yeah.
you end up getting a JavaScript developer, you end up getting a CSS expert, HTML expert that you convert into the bubble developer and all. So what is the platform, or what is the different ways of posting that job description and getting the profiles?
Yeah, it's a hard one because the industry is still growing and there's not that many job boards for no-code developers.
They are sort of an agency who matches the bubble developer. I don't know exactly, but I just feel like
Yeah.
they are agency.
Yeah, it looks like it. Get matched with top no-code next gen talent, but that's also a good place to start looking, right? On these listings of, and like NoCodeAliance, you can go there, search by the tech stack and find experts and directly message them themselves, or that way too. And so that the goal is first find an expert or consultant that can guide you through the process.
Right.
And if you can, hire him or her. But if you can't afford them or they don't want to do that, at least have them help you through the process, right? And so you can do the initial interviews without them just to see if they're a company fit, a culture fit.